live stream, got it. And so we are in a hybrid mode, as has been approved by our board. And my co-chair, Jesse Greenwald, is online. And in order for us to convene the meeting, we have to have a quorum in the room. And the good news is we have a quorum in the room for 8 people. We have Nelly Gonzalez, who is the assistant district manager, who is really running the show here, at least on the digital show. And then we are going to go around the room and introduce ourselves. I don't know whether, this committee makes recommendations and it goes to the board, the full board, who votes on the letters that we are proposing. And that's the way it generally works. Nelly, am I missing anything critical in what we need to say for an introduction?
No, I think you covered it all.
Okay. And yes, so generally for each item, we get a presentation or a person present their case, and then the committee asks questions, and then we open to the community at large to make comments and ask questions, and then we regroup within the committee to discuss and make a resolution. Okay, so that's the way it goes, and then we write a resolution, and then it goes to the full board. So why don't we go around the room, and we can start, with David. So I am Christine Berthe. I'm the co-chair of Transportation Committee. David.
I am David Warren. I'm regular member of the committee board.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Charlie Todd, member of the Transportation Committee.
Hi, Rodney Washington, also a member fairly new.
Brett Burford, public member of the Transportation Committee.
Alan Oster, member from Chelsea.
Alice Wong, member for. Waterfront parks and the environment and transportation.
Okay. And online, Jesse, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Jesse Greenwald. I'm the co-chair of this committee, and apologies that I am not with all of you in person this evening.
Okay, and Tina, since you walked in.
Member.
Okay, so we have 2 additional important people. We have Colleen Chadagun from the DOT, who is joining us. And in the back here, we have a member of the public, who is Bob Benfado, who represents the Hudson Yard Health Kitchen Alliance for one of the items. So I think the first issue we want to, is on the agenda is, and then the MTA update, new elevators in CB4 has been postponed. The MTA notified us fairly late that they wanted to have more information for us, and we agreed to postpone. So if there is anybody in the public who is interested in this matter, you can leave or stay, but it will not be discussed today. All right, so the first item is a request for a revocable consent, and which concern the Amtrak Tunnel under and across city-owned lands underwater, West 30th Street and 10th Avenue. And we have a whole group of people from Amtrak which are going to brief us on what is this request, and its timeliness, and we can ask questions. So who is starting? You are.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hi, Christine. So thank you for inviting us to be here tonight. I very much appreciate it. I think, do we have control over mute and unmute on ourselves? Because I'd like the team to introduce themselves, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, you can mute and unmute yourself if
Okay.
you are on the speaker. And if there are people which are not in the speaker, we can move them over. You can tell us who else should be there.
So Laura, Molly, and Ben were the names that I sent to Nellie earlier today.
And they are
So
all here.
they're all here. So I'm going to introduce myself and then I'm going to kick it to them. And then I'm going to have Molly share the screen for the parcel that we're talking about. So my name is Rebecca Zach. I'm the Director of Government and Community Affairs here at the Gateway Development Commission. And I'm going to hand this off to Ben Engel.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Ben Engel. I'm the Senior Program Manager for Program Planning at the Gateway Development Commission. Molly?
You're on mute.
Sorry, everyone. It's, the mistake that just keeps on happening. I'm the Communications and Government Affairs Associate with the Gateway Development Commission. And Laura?
Hi, good evening. I am Laura Colacurcio, the External Affairs Manager for the Gateway Program at Amtrak. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for showing up on the short notice.
Thank you for having us. So Molly, would you mind, Christine, at this point, I'm going to have Molly share her screen and we're going to look at the parcel that we discussed recently. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Great.
Okay, can everyone see this?
Yes.
The everlasting question. So we are looking for, we have 3 revocable consent packages. One is here is the underwater parcel is listed as number 1. Number 2 is at 30th Street between 11th and 12th. And number 3 is 10th Avenue between 31st and 33rd Streets. How these are sequentially going is the underwater parcel work is expected to start later in 2024, I'd say midsummer. This is highly seasonal work, and we are working closely with the Army Corps of Engineers, along with environmental groups to make sure that we are making every precaution necessary when working in the river. And this work is necessary for strengthening the ground in order to advance eventually tunnel boring work. And that's, sometime down the road. And while we don't expect, it's a city-owned property in the river, and that we're not expecting any impacts in terms of the land use that you see on the west side, it is in advance of work that will be coming later on. And then parcel number 2, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe you want to take it one step backward and just explain what the blue is and,
apologies.
When do you expect to be working on those things, and then go to the specifics.
Thanks, Christine. I appreciate that. So the blue is coming in from the alignment from New Jersey. This is the alignment path in which we are coming from the west, from New Jersey over into the river. And then the first parcel we hit is this underwater parcel. And then here is at 29th Street and 12th Avenue. This is the site of the shaft and the fan plant. And then continuing to move further east, it continues to be the alignment for the tunnel boring, and then you end at Penn Station, you terminate there. So this is, I'm sure people are aware of it, but it's the Hudson Tunnel project. Recently, the President Biden was here at the end of January touting the project. And July, they announced almost $7 billion, the largest grant ever given to a transportation project in the country for the Hudson Tunnel project. And it is to create redundancy in the system. What you have now is over 113-year-old tunnel that runs 24 trains an hour. If one of those tubes stopped running, we drop down to 6 trains an hour. So the first part of this is building the new tunnel, and that is expected to be operating by 2035. And then there'll be the rehab of the existing tunnel. So what you're creating is reliability and redundancy within the region. This is one of the most congestion parts of the entire Northeast corridor, coming from Boston all the way to DC. And, you have commuters and on both sides of the river who use it and, are not experiencing the best transportation experience that can be had. And a special purpose entity was created in order to implement the project, and that is the Gateway Development Commission. This project is expected to create over 72,000 jobs and to create over $19 billion in economic activity. Is that an appropriate overview for you, Christine?
All right. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So if it's okay, if I go into a little bit more of the specifics again, and I can go back to the underwater parcel. So this is where you'll see work that is cofferdams in the river. And like I said, we're working closely with the Army Corps of Engineers in terms of permitting. And I think we're expecting the work to be later this summer, 2024. And then moving further east, you get to 30th between the 11th and 12th Avenue. And the contract that is tied to that work is called the Manhattan Tunnels Project. And the notice to proceed for that project is expected in October of 2024. Obviously, there's mobilization and a lot of groundwork that takes place before construction begins. So, maybe January 2025 is when we expect that work to begin. And then further out at 10th Avenue and 31st and 33rd Street is work that is expected to start in 2026, January of 2026, expected timeframe. And that's called the systems and fit out work. Now, why we are coming to you now, and this stuff is many, many months out, is that these are critical agreements with USDOT, and in order to access and to get to the point of a full funding grant agreement with USDOT, FTA, FRA, we need to have these critical agreements in place by February, early March of 2024. Which is why we're kind of having this conversation now at many, many months in advance, a lot of this work. But I was talking to Christine recently, and I said, I think this is the perfect opportunity to now create the community engagement in terms of what you're going to be expecting to see on the street in terms of construction impacts. And we are very much want to, and we are working with our contractors and with our engineers to get a better understanding at GDC and at Amtrak about what those impacts are going to be. And I think we're very close to the time in which we can come to the community and the elected officials and present that in a much fuller picture and start that back and forth dialogue that I think we all appreciate and expect for a project of this magnitude, I think, or any project, any transportation project for that matter.
Okay. We have questions. Okay, we're starting with David.
I think this is great that you're doing this, but I want to know, maybe I didn't hear it in all the information that is it going to be construction on the surface of the street?
You're going to have construction staging on the street. So we're going to be coming through the river, through the bulkhead and underneath the park to get to Penn Station. But you're going to be doing the shaft work. Yes, let me go back. The shaft and fan plant that's located at block 675, which is Amtrak owned property, that will be construction above ground. And there will be construction staging associated with that. There'll be construction staging associated with the 30th Street project and the Manhattan Tunnels project. So yes, there will be above ground work, but the tunneling will be quite deep. I don't know if I answered your question correctly, but I think yes to both.
There will be.
Go ahead, Ben.
There will be at street construction to facilitate cut and cover tunneling on 30th Street and at 10th Avenue, and maintaining a lane on 30th Street and maintaining the lanes on 10th Avenue. We're committed to do that. We're committed to working with this group to coordinate that and to do that engagement. But there won't be a full closure on 30th Street, or certainly no full closure on 10th Avenue.
And please keep in mind that I think the end of this year or beginning of next year is going to be a protected bike lane on 10th Avenue. So you're going to need to keep that in your calculus and make sure that while you're doing construction, to put in a temporary protected lane while the construction, because a lot of times when people do construction, they overlook that. And that's an issue.
And that's a continuation of the 10th Avenue bike lane that I think is it moving north down to south or the opposite way?
It's moving south, so.
Yeah,
you start-
okay.
Let's go for 30 Street down to Hudson.
No, the flow of traffic is moving north, but the extension is going from 38 to 15.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. I think we've heard that, but I'll make sure I have a weekly call with every engineer or consultant who's working on that. So I'll make sure that we raise that this week. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay.
Because we appreciate and know that there's a lot of cycling that takes place around here. Obviously, the park is a major artery for that.
Hold on, let's have a question.
What type of interference will there be with river traffic? I mean, you've got ferries that go past there and cargo ships and all.
Can you
kinds
hear
of
that?
things.
I didn't hear that.
Okay, I was wondering if it's gonna cause any interference with the river traffic. We've got ferries out there, cargo ships, tankers.
Is it going to interfere with?
I'm not aware of any impacts to river transportation, but we can confirm that. I don't know if Ben or Laura have any other different information, but I'm not aware of any impacts to boats within, and like, I know you have citywide ferry service and but I'm not aware of any impacts to those transportation options.
So, no impacts. We will have these steel containment, the cofferdam that Rebecca mentioned earlier, a maximum of 600 feet wide at any given time. We're working closely with the Army Corps of Engineers and the Coast Guard and the Sandy Hook pilots and the Marine community, as well as we will continue to do the outreach that we've done with Hudson River Park on the recreational boating, and that's going to be a continuous process. We want to make sure that this is that the cofferdams in the river are safe for the construction workers and for the marine traffic on the river. We understand that it's quite busy. And we've been out there and we've seen it, and that's something that we're going to continue to make sure with the Coast Guard and with this group and the Hudson River Park Trust that this containment system in the river is well lit, and any of the construction vessels that we use are very noticeable in the river day and night.
So you're going to have a presence above the water to mark the construction, right? Flags, etc.
Yes.
Okay.
It's pretty dark out there some nights, so,
Well, they're going to put some lights.
yeah, there is standardized lighting that they have to have.
Who was raising, oh, yes.
This might not be a question for you, but there's a building going up on 29th and 12th. And we're hoping to get an EMT station there on the books for a while. How is this impacting, or is this delaying the construction at all, or are you in contact with the developer there in some ways? I understand the positioning was changed from one, moved over a little bit or something a while back, the staging area in that corner. So is it impacting the development at all? Is it pushing it back at all? Or
I'm not aware of any impacts to the development that you're flagging. But I think the other thing that you're saying is that we're expecting, we are working with New York City DOT to look at closing 29th Street in order to use that for construction staging, in order not to stop the movement of the EMS station on lot 12 within block 675. So that study is ongoing, and we're hoping to wrap that up quickly and soon. And I think once we have that done, I think that will be the time for kind of a more formal presentation to the entire community. But in all of my discussions every week with the partnership, I haven't heard of any impact to that development.
Okay.
But also we can double check that and make sure.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes, right.
Yeah, just continuing the bike lane discussion. So 29th Street and 30th Streets are both crosstown river to river bike lanes, and those are pretty heavily used. That's my preferred path to get to the Hudson River Park personally.
So what's the question?
Are those bike lanes going to still be accessible? Well, you just mentioned you're going to be looking to close Main Street.
Yes, but we're making sure to ensure that there's the bike infrastructure stays put. They might be shifted, but the bike lane infrastructure will stay.
Okay. Who else? Yes.
Sorry.
I just have a question, if you were,
Oh,
when you were
I'm sorry, Jesse.
designing, if you gave any thought to the people that attend these conventions there, and I have done it, and they always bring people over from the major hotels on buses to the Javits Center. And I would think, but I have not scoped it out, that there might be some situations where you could bring them by ferry and bring them, you know, to the Javits that way, to the area where they are. And that would be better than having to take a bus through the.
They are now, the Javits people are coming by subway now.
They are.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah,
We're good
There's a
on
ferry
that.
stop on 30 something.
Okay, Jesse has a question. I'm sorry, Jesse, I didn't see.
No, it's
your
okay.
hand.
I may have missed it. What did you describe were going to be the effects to the traffic on the West Side Highway? I'm just raising it because of just concerns about traffic being diverted into Chelsea, you know, people heading in both directions.
Right now, I don't have a total answer to that yet. I think I'm looking. I don't know if Ben or Laura have more information on that they want to discuss. What I've been focusing most on and kind of what's happening around 29th and 30th Street. I'm guessing there's going to be lane closures, and I can absolutely follow up and give you a better answer on that. So I'm not guessing at it, and I'm giving you a more clear answer.
Sure.
So why don't I make a note and do that?
Yes, please. Well, and I, you know, lane closures are one thing, and please, you know, obviously do look into that. But if you find out and you look into this, and there's going to be some period of time where, you know, traffic will actually have to be rerouted, I think we would like to know that ahead of time and think about ways to make sure that that's not coming through our streets.
Right. So, but I want to make sure I'm understanding your question correctly. It's if there's rerouting off 9A onto any of your local streets.
Correct.
Correct. Thank you.
Jesse, there's no plan to do that right now, to do rerouting on the West Side Highway, Route 9A. There will likely be short-term closures where we have to do utility work or other type of much shorter term work, but it wouldn't be a full closure in any event.
What do you call short term? Is it 1 month, 6 months?
We can come back to you. I think it's short term in that it's not like a year, not, but we will get you specific information on that.
Right.
I have that. Thanks, Christine. I have that question down as what does short-term closure mean?
And then I have a few questions myself. So I didn't realize that 10th Avenue and 30th Street were going to be cut, you know, open cuts. How many lanes are you going to cut from both things? And for how long?
It will be done sequentially, so it wouldn't be a full open cut. It would be likely one lane at a time, and then it would have like a covering, like a metal covering for some period of time before the street is fully restored. But we'll come back to you on a more specific information on
And
that.
I presume that the digging to open that's going to be fairly noisy.
Sorry, I didn't hear the end of that.
I said the digging in order to open it's going to be fairly noisy, right? Wow.
I mean, I think that, I mean, I think that's a smart assumption that type of
Yeah.
work would have noise, but I know that noise mitigations are also as part of the FEIS. So in terms of, we want to mitigate that as much as we can, but understanding that there will be probably noise associated with that.
And that's the type of engagement that, as we advance design and ultimately select a contractor for this work, and this work is planned to be design bid build. So our consultants will do 100% of the design, that we do that engagement ahead of time with the community on when a lane may be taken out of service, or when there may be loud noises. If there's any blasting, there's time. There's time restrictions on the blasting in Manhattan, and we also have to coordinate with FDNY before we do that. And that's part of the engagement that we look to do as the project advances.
Any of you is going to move right next to the digging?
Relocation.
In relocation, next to the apartments, so you can have firsthand, experience of what's going on.
I would love to move over there.
Okay, we'll look for a place for you.
Make sure there's no nighttime.
Right.
If we can do it during the day.
Tina, yes, Tina.
I'm just curious now, are you limiting hours to certain days or certain hours of the day and excluding any days or hours for the work?
Yes, so blasting will only occur between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. And only with permission from the FDNY. And the environmental impact statement records decision specifically require us to provide a blasting schedule to build the neighbors, the community. And so it won't be a surprise, and it will have lead time. In general, we expect the work to really be dependent on where it takes place along this alignment and the types of work. Rebecca was getting a little bit into the different types of tunneling. We talked about cut and cover. There's tunnel boring machines that are going under the park, and other type of tunneling. So there's a lot of different types of methods that are being used in this stretch.
We're talking about noisy work. When will the noisy work happen? Well, just, this is a very technical word. Noisy work.
So
category of work, and we just want to know, when are you going to do it? Is it going to be at night, or is it going to be during the day?
Yeah, so the blasting, which would be
not the blasting. We already got the blasting story.
So we expect trucking activities to occur weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. We expect work at the 12th Avenue fan plant site to be 2 shifts of work between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. and 3 p.m. and 11 a.m. And some work underground.
Is overnight, right?
11 p.m.
No.
You said 11 a.m.
What did you say?
7 a.m. to 3 p.m. would be the first shift. The second shift would be 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. I apologize if I said a.m.
Okay, you said a.m. All right. Okay. And we're still waiting for the information for the cut and cover. When you cut, what's the time?
So we don't have a specific time at this point. And that's something that would be advanced as the design is advanced, and that we would do that engagement. so that the contractor
But
hasn't been brought on board yet.
How come you have all the other, times very specific, and this one you don't, which is the only one we really care about?
It's a good question. It's one of those things that the analysis didn't include in the FEIS.
Did not?
It didn't give a specific time. It said that the work would occur between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. for work in the Manhattan waterfront area, which is not specific to 10th Avenue. It's not specific to 30th Street. So that's why I don't have a specific time for.
Because we have a lot of people live on 30th Street, you know that, right?
Yes.
And they are not poor people. Which means that they are going to be loud and clear about what they want and what they don't want. And,
I'll also note that the analysis included the assumption that at least the buildings that have been built on towards the east side of Block 675, which on the 11th Avenue side, were included in our assumptions for the noise analysis, and that the mitigations being a sound wall that we'll have, and window mitigations, that those buildings would have the appropriate windows to make sure that noise didn't exceed the levels that are set forth in the environmental review process, and engaging with the community. And I think that's something that we're going to do early and often and throughout, because we understand that we're going to be neighbors here for a long period of time. And
so when you say engaging with the community, it sounds to me like we meet, but nothing happens. So we need to define what engaging with the community. We're going to give you a list of our requirements, and engaging with the community is going to be responsive to those requirements, not just say, oh no, the EIS says this or that. This is going to be, we're going to need to say, okay, we need to change windows, and we are going to expect them to change windows.
I also want to point out that's also included in the FEIS or the ROT is that we're going to have a community center in New York. So you're going to have a dedicated space. But
community center and dedicated people do not change windows. So what I'm trying to say is that if we need cocoons and if we need really changing windows, we're going to need that, and that's it. That's the bottom line. And okay, and then I think you had there is a request for a revocable consent there for bollards for related. Is that part of your package? No?
The related request is not part of the Amtrak packet. Related has informed, they informed us that they had no revocable consent request by related pending. So that's something that we're aware of. I don't know if Laura has any other further information about that. I don't think so. That's the same information that I have. And Christine, if you're understanding something different, that's the information that we have on our side, and we're happy to continue to dig into that.
No, we put that in the letter that we don't know what it is, and we are not, agreeing to anything. But I think it seems to me that it's an old letter that was attached. You had the drawing of the truck routes, I think. Could you share with the community?
Molly, could you share that other attachment I sent you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that now.
Thank you.
Is that visible?
Yep.
The concerns with coordinating this with the Con Edison and the local utilities.
Yep.
They have a tendency to do this work outside of what is being scheduled. here.
Yeah, so
And that was-
how is that, how are you coordinating with the ComEd and other utilities?
And
So that they adhere to your hours and they adhere to your, your noise levels.
Want to make sure I'm understanding right. You mean just like Con Ed, they're just, regular state of good repair work, or you're talking about the facility that's on 29th Street and how they operate?
No, we are talking about whatever work you need ComEd to do as part of your job, of the job. Because what typically happens is that DVC come and say, oh, this is a 3-year job. And then, ComEd stays another 5 years behind. Or ComEd works at, midnight when everybody was supposed to stop at 11. So we need you to be the master contractor and to take ComEd under your wing
Mhm.
and let them know what are the rules of the road here.
I think that's great feedback, and I'll make sure, and I don't know, Ben, if there's anything else that you have to add, but what I could just say for now is that I'll make sure I'll take that back and that we're coordinating at those levels. We have been coordinating quite closely with the facility on 29th Street.
Looking from here to there. Okay, so if you can show us how the trucks will go. Can you take us through that?
Sorry.
So the entrance are on 30th Street or there are entrances on 30 and 29, right?
Yes. I'm sorry, Ben, would you mind, could you walk through this a little bit? I think you could maybe know this a little bit better than I do.
Sure. So the trucking activities would go to and from the Lincoln Tunnel and return out to and from New Jersey. And the trucks would go down Dyer Avenue, cut across West 34th Street, and travel down 11th Avenue. They could either enter the shaded area construction, which is the construction area, via the entrance on 29th, and then they could exit or enter via West 30th Street on the north side of the staging area. They would return to New Jersey via the West Side Highway, Route 9A, and back to the Lincoln Tunnel.
Ben?
We'll see.
Do we have anybody, Nelly, do we have anybody in the community that has any question? Nelly?
Sorry, hold on one second. Could we stop sharing the screen?
Yeah.
Thank you. I have no raised hands.
All right.
Christine, could I ask you something?
Yes.
You had mentioned some development on 40th Street. Would you mind sharing a little bit more information about that?
On 40?
Yeah, I thought you had said that. Maybe I'd misheard you the other day, but and if I did, apologies, but I thought you had mentioned that the residential buildings had gone up on 40th.
Yes, at 10th Avenue and 40th.
Okay.
Yeah, and they are on both sides of the avenue, on the east side and the west side.
Okay.
Lots of. Yeah.
The big one coming up on 11. It's a big one coming up on 11. Right, so.
Yeah, but
so
they are
let's see.
still 10.
And you're saying there's another, are you saying, I'm making sure I'm hearing you correctly. Are you saying there's another residential tower being built on 11th and 40th?
I mean, I think I would recommend that you take a walk around the area.
Sure.
Get a sense of what's going on.
Speaking of, I don't know if anyone's seen the artistic fence wrap around block 675 around 29th Street and 11th and 12th. Amtrak just did a collaboration with an artist. I was just out there last week. It is quite beautiful. If anyone would like to go see that, I would encourage you. It's some very unique and very beautiful fence wrapping for the Art at Amtrak program. But yes, we'll go walk on 40th.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, just walk up 10 and 9 and you'll go 10 and 11 and you'll get a sense of what's going on. It's changing all the time. Okay, all right, so.
I think we have to vote on the consent, but a real quick technical question. Who are we granting the consent to? Is it to Gateway Development or is it to Amtrak?
It's Amtrak. They're on the petition.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
So, I don't know, what I've heard is that we're concerned about the marine activity. We're concerned about the streets, 10th and 30th. We're concerned about the noise and the dust.
And the bikes.
We are concerned about the bikes.
Temporary bike lane.
Temporary bike lane. And we're concerned about the level of, engagement and the level of communication from the community and the hours of operation, obviously, and containing the noise during that period. And did I have anything else?
That's Jesse, there's two clusters on the west side, how you're sure.
West, right, that's part of the road interference, you're right.
I didn't bring this up, when they're not doing construction, how will they cover the parts of the streets that have been exposed?
By plates, like they do everywhere.
Will the plates, will they put a rubber around the plates or will they just leave the plates? A lot of times they just leave the plates.
I think we need to be at this level now, and then we need to work at the details when we re-engage with them.
Yeah.
Right now, we can't, they don't even have the answer to a lot
I have
of
a feeling we'll be seeing a lot of each other for quite a while. So.
Yes. I think we're all going to become very close.
The hours containing that, etc. And I mean, I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
So do I have a motion for writing subject to all those things, which we don't have answers to?
I make
Yes.
the motion.
Okay. Okay, only in favor? And then, yes, Jesse, okay, so we'll have, thank you very much for coming and taking our aggravation. Just give you a sense of what it's going to be the next 10 years, right?
This is very helpful for us. It's very difficult when you're planning a project like this. You have an enormous amount of planning that goes in, and it's very hard to know like when is the first step. And getting to this point has been very long. And Christine has been and I just want to say this, Christine, you've been very understanding, and we very much appreciate that. And you've been very flexible. And I just want you to thank you for that. I know we are going to spend an enormous amount of time together. I just turned 50. I imagine I'm going to turn 60 doing this project, and we're all going to celebrate my 60th birthday together, riding through a new train tube. So we will come to you with as much robust and informed engagement. We'll be having a delivery partner, and there's going to be a lot of people to engage with you, myself and Laura and Ben and everybody. I just want to thank you for all of your time and everyone in the room and everyone on the phone.
Be involved before you design your contracts, because we have experience with MTA where people come and say, oh, it's not in the contract. So we want to share with you our, terms and conditions that you should probably put in your contracts so that it's easier to manage the contractors if we all have the same level of expectation.
Yeah.
Right. And then we don't have people saying, oh, no, I didn't sign up for that. And I understand this is, so from a protocol standpoint, it would be really very effective if we could have those discussions in detail before you sign your contract.
So I will engage as quickly as I can and as robustly as I can. I've, a few people that check in on like the of doing that. So let me take that back. But I just wanted to thank you for all of your time and allowing us to meet with all of you. And I can't wait to get to know everyone better.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Have a wonderful
Appreciate
evening. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
So Melly, how many people are here for the next topic?
There are 3 people in the room with you.
Yes, that's it. Is there anybody on?
There are not, we have 6 attendees. There's not that many. So
Okay, all right.
I don't know if there's anyone
Because you
online.
know how to manage that time. All right, so the second item is about vendors. And we have here 3 people or 2 people.
Just 2 of us, the third person doing it.
Perfect. Okay, so 2 people representing vendors in the, what's the name of
The Bella Abzug Park.
the what?
The Bella Abzug Park.
I can't get there. So the Bella Abzug Park, which has been very popular, which has received a lot of customers and a lot of vendors. And apparently there have been some difficulties as far as placement, etc. And so we wanted to open, the community board, which is an open, transparent process to representative of the vendors. And here they are. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us, yes.
Sorry, real quick, just to also say, after we hear from the vendors, we also have with us tonight a representative from the Parks Department who has a role in the siting of these vendors and where they are. And I believe we have a representative, yes, from the Hell's Kitchen, the Hudson Yards Hell's Kitchen Alliance, which has control over this area. So we'll have.
I think the representative from Eric Butcher is going to be signing on tonight.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, Eric couldn't join tonight. I spoke to him a little earlier, but I know that Jordan from his office is here with us. So thank you, Jordan, for being here.
Good, thank you. So why don't you introduce yourself, each of you, and tell us, the problem you have, not too long, right? Kind of very narrow focused, and tell us who you represent, each of you, and then we'll ask you some questions.
Sure. So good evening, everyone. I'm Mohammed Al-Zia. I'm the managing director of the Srinagar project. We are a part of the nonprofit organization.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Can we ask that the people in the room maybe move to the front of the room and the camera, I think, will go to you, because right now you're both hidden behind members and I'd like to be able to see your presentation. Thank you.
No, but come a little bit to the front so that you can speak into the right. The owls are the speaker.
Yeah.
So if you can repeat what you said.
Okay, my name is Mohammed Awad. I'm a street vendor at the Hudson Yard since 2014.
Okay, all right, very good. So we hear you.
So can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Folks online?
Yes.
They
can hear.
So
thank
I laid some slides because the topic is very complicated and I don't want to spend an hour. First, I want to thank you all for giving us the opportunity and putting the topic on the agenda. I want to make this as short as possible, just to appreciate your time. But I think it's very difficult to explain something when you have a lot of visuals and nuance over there. So Nelly, if you have the slides up and you can share screen, that would be great. And we can pick it up. I promise I'll make it very short.
How long?
I can take 3 to 4 minutes max.
Oh, great.
To just cover the whole thing.
Yes.
You're fine, you're fine.
I think you will need 30 minutes of questions for us because how complicated.
I'm sorry, I didn't receive the slides.
I'm pretty sure I shared it with you, Nelly. If you want to take a look at our thread, and I can pump it up again. I know I sent it a bit late, close to 4:30.
My phone.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah, I just emailed it to you, Nelly, so it should be there in like 2 seconds.
While we're waiting, can you actually say your name again? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, no worries. My name is Mohammed Ataya, and I'm the managing director of the Street Vendor Project at the Urban Justice Center.
At the Urban Justice Center, right? Yes.
And
Okay, great.
Organize the street vendors.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Sure.
And I have seen Mohammed testifying, and he's very, very effective.
Thank you. I'm so honored to receive such a compliment. So happy to receive it.
Did you get it, Nelly?
No, it's not coming through.
Can you check your spam folder? Is it getting bounced? Is it maybe too big? Is there something? Do you have a size limitation maybe to your email?
Christine, could you present this laptop with the email here?
Is it possible to email it to you, Christine, or somebody?
Or to Jesse?
Yeah, try me. Try me. Hold on. Here. Do you want me to give you? Let me give you my email address. You can send it to me.
Okay.
As well. So J.Greenwald, my last name, GREENWALD 14. Don't know why, at gmail.com.
14@gmail.com.
Yep.
And Greenwald, GREE or GRE?
GREENWALD. Thank you, Christine.
No, it's still not coming through for me.
Oh, I got it. So here we go.
Got it? Okay. Good.
Yeah.
All right, put it up.
It works. Oh my God.
Is it a wait?
I just got the email, but it's empty. There's no attachment.
That's what, yeah, I don't have an attachment either, so maybe that's what the issue is.
Okay. So I have my laptop. Is it possible to connect it to the thing and play it out? Would that be of any help?
Oh, the thing, what you mean the thing? You would have to bring, and I don't want to take the risk of unplugging all that stuff. No, I don't. This is, you want to send it to me? But that's going to be the second issue.
Why don't you send it from your laptop?
Well, if you have your, yeah, send it, get on your laptop and email it to Nelly and me, and then we'll, but you can, Christine, you should share with him the Wi-Fi, which I think is on the instruction sheet right there.
Yes, it is.
What is it?
On the instruction paper that was left for you on the back is the Wi-Fi information.
Recording emergency Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
And
That's the wrong one.
with a capital N. 9 ABA 6 E 86 58. 9 KVA awareness. Okay, let's see what's gonna get on the boards. Very good. Okay, so now are you sending?
I'm gonna send it again, hopefully it works this time.
Okay,
I know it's quite a big folder, but I was trying to summarize as much as possible, so.
we don't want an indication in vendors, right? Because we don't know vendors, we like them.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, we like vendors, we don't need a whole manual.
Maybe another day, I'm gonna get you the whole 9 yards whenever time allows, but yeah, that's not about that today. Today is about one particular block.
Right.
We don't want to talk about the whole district or the whole neighborhood, just one block.
So you send it to Jesse or what could one?
I actually want to send it to you all right now. Yeah, I think it's still loading as an imported one.
In the settings.
It's a PDF file?
It's a PowerPoint.
That's another problem. You make it.
Oh my God, so PowerPoints are PowerPoint.
Well, yeah, it is. A lot of people don't want to open it.
Well, you started with traffic, I remember the things that don't come along.
Right. It's better to do the PDF and then you can compress the PDF and then you send it.
You should better save your computer, the PDF. And then we.
Is it going or not?
It's not going, it's.
All right, so you know what? You're going to have to talk briefly through it, explain with,
Yeah, sure.
hands.
We use our imagination.
Right. And a lot of people know Hudson,
Yeah.
the park, so you don't have to explain to them.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, can maybe Nelly can open up Google Maps on the browser and just.
Corner of the pond.
It's a straight.
Right, it's a corner of the side of the pond.
Trees on this side, trees on that side, shrubs, boom, 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 benches, that's it.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
I do have the slides here on my phone, but they are very tiny, so I'm not gonna benefit from that.
What are you going to do?
So
No,
I can like just, I don't think people will see.
Forget about it.
From here.
Just talk.
You have it on your computer. So I can't pull it up on the computer yet because it's still loading.
All right, so forget about the technology, you just
So
talk.
the whole technology I able to save time, now we're wasting it. So just for context, folks, and I think like if people want to pull Google Maps, that'll be great, but if you can imagine it in your head, we're talking about Villa Observe Park, which is a 3 or 4 block park. But the whole conversation here is about the first block that is close to the Hudson Yards. Right, so we're looking at West 33rd Street, right by Hudson Boulevard East. So, like early on in 2014, 2015, when the construction started, as usual, as any location in New York City, vendors show up, right? There is massive construction, 1,000+ construction workers. These people are usually hungry, they need coffee, breakfast, lunch, etc. So vendors go to provide the service that's needed, but also to have some sort of business opportunity out of it. We spent many years throughout the construction time between 2014 and 2019. So you can imagine the whole area was very shaky. It was not like really solid and people didn't have specific locations. On a fast forward to 2019. So 2019, the area has become likely what exists right now. Not exactly what exists right now, but likely 90% right now. So when that happened, we have seen that a park was formulated, a park that existed, the sidewalks, the park is being built, the subway station opened up, the 7 train. So by nature, the vendors set up the carts according to the law and according to the locations where they believe are viable locations, right? So 2 carts set up right in front of the subway station. Another cart set up later on 33rd near Hudson Yard Boulevard, and then 2 cars set up across the street on 33rd with that block facing the vessel. For context, in case you're wondering, all these carts have the right permits and licenses. So Okay, so we're looking.
Jesse,
Yeah, okay, that's helpful too for visuals.
go to the right.
Yeah.
Jesse, go. Now, go to the right a little bit.
If you want to go up, like in the same direction you're going, look. Anyway, yes, if you want to go up straight ahead in this direction. Yeah, we just want to reach the corner. Yes, one more.
Where do you want to be? You want to be in the corner here? Okay.
Here, stop.
Stop
Right.
there. On
Great.
the left, these are the cars we're referring to. There's one of them, another one, and then there is another one across the street, which is behind where the camera is at. So long story short, we have about 5 cars on this one block, 3 of them on the park side, 2 of them across the street. Everything was fine, right? People figured out that this is a parks property, so they cannot work with the citywide permits. I know it's into the weeds, but it's an important piece. So they had to partner with military veterans, disabled military veterans who have a very special permit to allow them to work on the parameters of city parks, which means they cannot use this permit anywhere else. They have to be only on those sidewalks around it. So they started the business, the construction kept going, and then throughout between 2019 and 2021, trees have been started to show up on that block. So as a part of the plan, trees are being planted here on that block in particular, right in front of the subway station, right in front of the exit where people used to set up. So by nature, they move down the block. And then every 6 months, every year, every whatever, those trees get expanded more and more till they reach a point around 2020 or so, 2021, please don't quote me on the dates, but like around that time, the vast majority of the block of the Hudson Boulevard East was all trees. And you only had about 20 feet, 30 feet to fit 2 cars in a legal location on Hudson Boulevard East, very close to 33rd. So this was the situation around 2020. So the 2 cars are on Hudson Boulevard East, another car on 33rd Street, and 2 cars across the street. And we never had a problem. We never heard of any issues with that. Muhammad Awad has been a member of SVP, the Chief of the Project, since 2016 or 17. He came in, he joined the fight. He never called and said, I have a problem where I work. During that time, just for context also, the Hudson Yards security have been harassing the vendors significantly. This is a very long conversation about how the real estate treat vendors, how they send security after them, they call the cops for them, they file complaints about them. There is a long history there with like 1,000 vendors all over the city. And they have been dealing with that. They haven't really complained like, oh, this is crazy, let's start the civil disobedience. You're like, fine, it's a part of the business. Being here, these people who call the cops for us every day, we're gonna deal with that. They received hundreds of tickets for very minor violations, sometimes for made-up violations, all of that is fine. That's not a problem. 2021, that's when the first big thing happened that we felt this is crazy and this is going out of hand. On the side, if you want to move Jesse a little bit to the left, just tiny bit. Just tiny more.
Do you want me to move down the street or do you want me to pan left?
No, to the left. You don't. Well, that's it. Perfect. That's a perfect shot. So these 2 trees right there, they used to have a very tiny normal tree pit, like a 5 feet long tree pit. I'm pretty sure you all know so much about trees. And then in early 2021, Muhammad Awad called our office and say, hey, the related company have a permit and they want to expand those tree pits, and that's gonna make us move all the way. And I was like, what do you mean? How is that happening? So we show up in the location and we see permits to expand those trees to make each of them 10 feet long. And I'm not a scientist, I don't know much about trees, but I'm like, why this tiny skinny tree need that 10-foot long tree pit? Why?
Those roots.
Nobody really understands, but the problem here is that even that permit that is printed and signed by Parks Department was literally struck through by hand, by a pen. And that 10 feet long was amended to be 12.5 feet. I don't know if that's legal or not. I don't know who amended the permit, but we have a picture of the permit. Everything I'm sharing with you, we have pictures, videos of evidence, receipts for everything we're saying. However, they have expanded the tree bed to 12.5 feet long on these two trees in particular. The rest of the trees are still with the 4 or 5 feet long, no problem. Now they find themselves, who used to have two carts, one was here, one was there, between these two trees. They find themselves not able to set up here anymore. They came up with a creative idea. They created a very new, creative, tiny cart that was like 3 feet long to literally fit here in this location. And yet the NYPD was angry. The health department was coming every week. We held 2 actions, 2 rallies by this location. The press came, everyone talked about it, and the Hudson Yards kind of like backed off. They were like, okay, we kicked them out, we removed them. Now there's one car that show up sometimes. Now this car is here. By the way, this car is now breaking the law. It's very close to the crosswalk. It shouldn't be here. It should be here where that tree pit exists. Now you can have a conversation with Park and you can ask them, why did you agree on the permit? Is that legal? Is that intentional? This is very subjective, right? This is a conversation that we have to, at the end, agree to disagree. Some people say that's not intentional. It's a good idea to have 10 feet long of dirt around any tree. And another person would say, this is very intentional because you've been harassing me for the last 5 years. Long story short, after that, we are seeing earlier this year, on 2023, basically on April 26, 2023, across the street. So, Jesse, if you want to move to the right, that'll be great. Just the same way, with the same shot, yes, little more, perfect. So where we're at right now, if you see this car, this location right here used to hold 2 cars. 2 of the cars were working, veterans involved, immigrants involved, people are working, making money, running very successful business. And all of that is trees, like starting this car all the way to the crosswalk, trees. There is no room, there is not even 1 inch to step a foot in there. Yeah, that's also another shot, but if you'll have to go that way. Yeah, that's a good shot. So what happened in April 26, 2023? Some people show up along with the parks department, along with the police, and they say, you have to go to these 2 cars. You have to go. We can expand the trees all the way to the crosswalk. And everyone was like really shocked. Why is that? Why trees have to be from crosswalk to crosswalk? It doesn't make any sense. We've been here for many years. We are running business. We have the right permit and license, but nobody cares. These people have orders. They are construction people. They work for parks and whatnot. They are just doing the job. So they removed the carts. They did the whole thing, and they made it all trees and tree pits. So now we have 2 businesses, 2 cars displaced. They can't be there anymore. Physically, they can't. And they were asked to move anywhere else in the park, which is down the block. Now, if you've been there enough and you walked around enough, you would know that you don't get the same foot traffic. If you're near the crosswalk, you have good foot traffic, you can make a living. If you go down the block there, you're gonna get less than a quarter of that foot traffic, which means less than a quarter of the business. So it's very difficult. So out of these 2 carts, one tried to work here for a few weeks, then it stopped because it was not feasible anymore. The other one is in the garage since April, not making any dollar. Everyone involved in the business is being impacted financially. Everyone is struggling. Workers lost their jobs and wages. It's a very dramatic situation. Now, fast forward to what has been going on throughout this whole process, but also earlier this year. There is a concessionaire permit or permits that are issued to a company called Paradis in the Park. Probably some of you have seen it. Nice, modern, fancy, greenish cards. Now they have an agreement with the Alliance, with the bid, and they have been having a number of cards on this one block over the last year or so. So they started with 1 or 2 cards by the subway station. Once you go out of the train station, you're gonna find them in front of you. You can't miss them. Then we added more cards and more cards, and the vendors didn't have any problem with them. In a way, we have different clientele. Like they sell coffee for like $5 a cup. These people sell coffee for like $1, $1.25. So it's like a different clientele. Okay, no competitions, no hard feelings. let people be. But what happened after that is that a couple of months later, they have seen that this company obtained an additional permit to work exactly on this location. And that permit says the northwest corner of 33rd and Hudson Boulevard. And they are coming with the Parks Department officer saying, this is this company's spot, you have to go. And now these people are saying, why is that? Why do we have to go? This company has 5 cars by the subway entrance operating around business. This organization gives them a 6th permit, no problem. They have the whole park to themselves. They can set up anywhere they want. Why exactly where we work and make money and have been there for the last 3 years? And there's no answer. The answer is just because they want to, just because they like it, just because they can. And that's the bottom line. We've been in these conversations since April 26th. We met with the Alliance a couple of times. We met with the local council member, Eric Butcher. We met with the state senator. We met with many people, had many conversations with Parks Department. And Parks Department is saying simply, we have nothing to do with this. The organization has an agreement with the city to run the park. They do whatever they want. But now, it is really unfair that we're seeing this intentional, systematic displacement of these businesses. And not only that, you're replacing them. You're kicking out a business that is operated and owned by disabled military veterans and immigrants, and you're putting another company that pays this organization money. Because these companies that operate with the Hudson Yards Alliance, they pay them rent. They're not out there for free. The veterans are exempt from the permit fee, which is, by the way, not a lot. It's $200 to obtain a permit from the city if you can. However, they are exempt. They are not paying rents to the city to get that permit, because these people served this country, they went to war, they got shot, they got hurt. So where is the fairness? All the conversations we're having with the council member, with Parks Department, with everyone, it's not about cancel the permits and kick out the company. It's not about that. Let the company be. Let the company have as many cars as they want. Nobody cares. But what about coexisting? Can we at least coexist? Can we at least all of us make money and all of us succeed? The plan of trees crosswalk to crosswalk is so absurd. I've never seen it anywhere in the city. It's so crazy that people were tripping on the fences surrounding it. That last month, they had to change that. When we had the conversation with the local council member, these 2 people came and said, there is no. I'm sorry, people. The Hudson Yards. They're talking to us. Not for that people. They mentioned, the Hudson Yards and Kitchen Alliance mentioned to the council member that there is no way they're gonna change the plan. They can't remove the trees. They can't touch the trees. And they reiterated that several times. We asked them very nicely, please remove 1 tree, make 10 feet spot for 1 cart so these people can make a living. They said no. Last month, they removed 2 trees to make space for pedestrians, and we have the pictures here. You can go yourself and check out the block. So they have changed their plan. They have removed trees and put pedestrian path. What did you ask? What are you asking? The ask is very simple. We would love to coexist. We would love for any sort of fairness, the least amount of fairness. For these people, for these business owners, to be able to operate on that block. We have on that block, you are asking to operate at that corner. Yes, not on that block. No, on that corner, because this corner is where they have been operating. But you still have 1 there? There still is 1 there? This cart right now is in the middle of the block. Oh, making about 20% of what it used to be. Okay. Basically losing money. These 2 cars don't exist anymore. Is there any reason this one is moved? Why is it not? Because the private company obtained a permit for this location specifically. Okay.
Christine.
Okay, so thank you so much. Sure, we got it. Okay, so yes.
I'm looking at that photo right there, that's within 10 feet of the intersection. Now, how many car could be there, period? Any car, regardless of who owns it. That's within 10 feet of the intersection. That's not a legal location.
Yeah, so that's a very good point. I can respond to that. I'm pretty sure that this park is 10 feet away from a crosswalk and it has been measured.
I'm looking at it right there. That's not outside of 10 feet of that crosswalk.
We can go there anytime and we can measure it with the measuring tape. And they have been inspected several times by the health department. And by the way, right now as we speak, this private company, we have a park exactly where that is, with the same size.
Okay, wait, let's not get,
Exactly.
let's not get into this. I understand that there is good reason, but let's try to stay calm. So what are the other questions?
So the new company is paying rent to whom?
To the Hudson Yards Health Kitchen Alliance.
Right. We're going to ask them to explain this.
Is the company in any way financially connected to, related in any way?
I have no idea. I have not.
No.
I have not got into this company's business.
No. You have a question?
I have a question. You mentioned that the carts are, the veterans, are they operated by the veterans or the veterans are leasing their permit to the immigrants? Because it's very confusing.
True.
Just you have the question.
Yeah,
You have the question.
so
Who's got the question?
what's the story with it? I mean, I haven't seen a veteran yet.
Yes, so the story is there is a partnership between 5 immigrants and 3 military veterans. These 8 people are partners on these 5 carts.
So do these 3 military veterans ever operate the car?
They have been on the carts all the time, every single day, just because they are required to. They don't operate the cart in terms of cooking the chicken and shopping. They don't do that. And they are allowed by the state law to have helpers. Because if somebody has disability, they cannot operate the cart.
So to clarify, this gentleman is a veteran?
No, he's not.
He's not. So he's bought a license from the veteran. Or is
He has a partnership with a veteran, Joseph Urbina, who was on the traffic today and couldn't make it because of the traffic, and he's a partner with that.
Okay. Yes.
It's a quick question. Do you have a permit currently from the city?
I'm sorry,
Do you have a permit?
do I have or this card? have?
The car, this is the
The
car.
card. So the card has a permit that is issued to a military veteran that allows it to work on the parameters of the park. Of any park, any city.
Which permit override? Hudson Yard or?
No.
It took the Parks Department 6 months to answer that question, by the way. Like, the Parks Department came in April.
Yes.
And they asked them to leave, and they couldn't force them because they didn't know the story.
Let's take the facts. So they are renting a veteran license. And with the veteran license, it allows them to be on parks locations. That's what it does. Yes.
So I just to try to understand what our role in this, I mean, we're a transportation committee, so sorting out who should be where and what, I mean, that's why I'm looking at how close is the intersection, that's a transportation issue. You know, who's got the right to do this and this and that, I mean, that's.
Well, we have the Parks Department who can help us on that, but I did some, well,
Yeah,
the Parks Department is there.
I mean, my wife's the hearing officer for oath, she might hear a case about it, you know, but that's not our jurisdiction, that's.
Can I clarify my question again? Now, I asked you about permit. Is there a permit issued by New York City agency to that location in Renda?
No, there is
Can I
no
please,
license.
I'm sorry. Thank you. So my question is it the permit issued to veterans to exist, or is it a permit that is issued by the city for this particular vendor to be at that location? There is some confusion about that.
Yes, great question. So the permits are issued by the city government. And the agency that issues these permits is the health department. Now, this permit type in particular is issued to disabled military veterans.
Oh, okay.
And that permit is specialized, it doesn't allow them to work anywhere they want. They can only be on a sidewalk surrounding a public city park.
Okay.
For example, they cannot be across the street.
But is it tied to a particular location?
It's not.
It's not. Okay, now I'm clear.
That was good to tell you. Okay, so I think if you want to sit down for 1 second, I'd like the Hudson Yard Alliance to explain to us the contract. First, yeah, to explain to us the contract they have with the other company.
Want me to get up?
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm Bob and Battle, and most people know the president of HYHK. We are the concessionaire actually of HYHK. We have a concessionaire agreement with the city of New York. We were allowed to hire a sub-concessionaire. Kim Paradis, who's a minority woman business, is the sub-concessionaire that runs Paradis. They are a private business, just like the 5 co-owners and the 3 veterans over there are running a private business. Mainly back then. That's pretty much the relationship. The only thing, I'm gonna introduce Dan, but I just wanted to, can I talk about this, we brought up the trees?
Yes.
You want me to, I can put it back up again. I'm sorry. I was just, oh, hold on. I'll share again. Sorry.
As this committee knows, we've been working for a long period of time on putting a shared street on blocks 1 and 2. The community board never wanted, when the park was even in the design phase, for there to be streets on either side of the park, because there was less park. It always wanted to have a greater amount of park. So we've always operated with the intention of adding as much park as possible by making the street more pedestrian friendly and less actually cars going up and down. Now, one of the parts of it is to put a row of trees in front of the new buildings. But you can only put those row of trees there when the buildings are built, you don't have access to the construction. We did this, which what they're talking about in block 1 and block 2 a while ago. You go to block 2 in front of the spot, you'll see the trees were there for a long period of time, and we did half at one point in block 1. But we couldn't do the other half because related had a right to the property and had stuff on it. So the reason why we did it in April of this year is because that's when they left. That's when the building opened in March, that's when they left. And so we went to Parks, asked for a permit. Parks asked would people get moved around. We said yes, but there's still a number of spaces that will be available. And we put the trees there. And they're there. And we have, through the RP agreement with Paradis, they have, besides for the carts they keep in the park, they have a right to 1 cart on the street, which is on 33rd Street, and can only be in that spot. It's not around the whole park. And my understanding actually, the permits, if you're a veteran, said that it's for any park in the city. You just have to be not just all park, any park.
Post offices too. Post offices as well. I mean.
Okay, all right.
Federal government.
Okay. So they can go around anyone. Our subcondition can only be in that spot. They can't be any place else around the park, but in the park in that spot. That's all it is. And it took us a while to get her there. And it's not even her, it's actually an immigrant, a Mexican immigrant who sells tacos. It's a very good, and people should go try. It took us a while to get them there because when he showed up to take his spot, they had tied their cart down to the ground, so it couldn't be moved. So it took months in order for us to finally get NYPD and the pep officers out there to move the cart. Although they were kind enough when the officers showed up to move themselves so that Paradis person can go in. Now, some of the other stuff they got, this is my operations, my VP of operations, Dan Scorch. He knows this better than me, and he operates this on a day-to-day basis. You want to get up?
Yeah, but we don't need anything else, do we? No, we're good.
You good?
We're good.
You got pretty much all of it up.
I just want to make sure it's clear that you have a contract. You have signed a contract with Paradis.
Yes,
and that contract has been blessed by Parks Department, and it says who pays what to whom.
Yeah,
and they pay based on the revenue they make.
We get a portion of the revenue that has to, by the contract, go into the park and only the park.
Okay.
I'm sorry, some of them, you mentioned the fact that trees were removed. Did you remove trees?
No, that there was a part of the tree pit was, there was a lot of people that were crossing over it, they were walking through it. And so we just added a little layer of concrete to make it like a sidewalk, so we could cross them without trampling the plants. But no trees were removed.
Because of the pedestrian and the Facebook program.
Yeah, it's a very good question. When you got this sort of whole permit, and you knew that
Hold on.
these people already existed at that particular location, did you try to coordinate with them or think about potentially keeping them there? or some sort
Coordinate?
of
No.
coordination, that you just decided that they must go and somebody
I
else.
didn't even
Not
tell
you.
No, we didn't. I didn't even tell related that we were doing it until the night before. We told their security people, if you happen to see a truck out there digging, don't go crazy. It's just us planting trees.
But they were never informed, you never took into account the fact that these people actually are already there.
We took into account because we know that other spots they can go to.
I know, but you knew that they were there, right? I mean, I'm asking a simple question. I'm an architect and we design things, we look at what is there. So this was there and was there any thought at all in terms of maybe potentially keeping them there and sort of creating a sort of no?
We have long-term plan to put the trees there. We want to continue doing it on blocks 3, 4, 5.
No, the trees is one part of it, removing them from where they are.
Well, we didn't move them.
I can answer that question. So the RFP that we released in 2018 was before 33rd Street was even open. If you all remember, 33rd Street was about 20 feet lower than it is
It
now.
opened in March 2019.
Open in 2019. So the RFP that we released in 2018 was released before there was any cart in that spot right there. And in that RFP, which we can show you if you want to see it, we anticipated that spot would be a spot that the concessionaire would want to use. So we identified it specifically in the RFP as a spot for a venue location. And it wasn't the very first spot that they wanted to use, but it is a spot that they did intend to use. And eventually, once they ramped up, they got a cart for that location. And they are operating there now.
Okay, who else? Okay, right.
How is Paradise chosen for this,
We had an RFP.
Yeah, it was a city process.
And we went through the whole Parks Department's
Parks
procurement
Randall.
policy.
Yeah,
In fact, they weren't even originally our first choice. It was someone else. And that fell through. And then we reached an agreement with Paradis. Then the pandemic hit. It's a very long process.
So is the tension just this one spot, or is it all of the spots and you all have to move? But it seems like this spot is the one that's causing the most tension, is that correct? And is that because that's to and from the train station?
Yeah, so
you would have to ask them.
yeah. Jesse, you have no, okay, yes, sorry.
Sorry. We love tree. We're not against it. I want to explain something here pretty fast. I've been here for years. Sorry, English is not my first language, but I'm gonna try to explain it. I've been serving coffee people for 8 years. Nobody complained. Selling another coffee. After 8 years, I was very welcome during the last 8 years. But after the process is finished, I'm not, it's fine. All this about money is not about trees. I'm not against the tree, I love the trees. It's about money because someone gave big money for them. Last year, my company paid $239,000 for New York City as a tax. I can send you my tax return, my company tax return every quarter. We pay money for New York City as a taxpayers for years. Now I'm not welcome because somebody paid money during now. They bring a new street vendors and they take us, minimize and push out the old vendors. Now the new vendors, they're doing a lot of mistakes, videos and pictures, a lot of violation, but nobody in charge, nobody even write him something. I'm the only one, he got the summons. I'm the only one, like I'm the only one in the old. Yesterday, what department?
I got it.
$900 summons, just yesterday, for no reason. Some people doing the same more than this. Last time, when we meet, I just tried to practice my First Amendment right. I go down the Parko Commissioner and we doing rally. Since I did that, there is no any friendly way with the Park Department. They illustrate us every single day. Now, the whole situation here about money is not about the trees.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so I think we got it. So, you know, And I'd like to ask the park department, Max, to share and you know, tell me if what I am saying is accurate. So my understanding is, this whole situation is very unfortunate, right? We understand. The permit for the vendors does not designate the space.
Hey, everyone.
And that's the, yes, Max, and that's the fundamental issue. The fundamental issue is that the permit does not designate the space.
Okay.
And that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And second, the Parks Department contracts with the bid and with the subcontractor has specific items specified. So, you know, it's a very stressful situation because you have a group of people which have no assurances of anything. And they live there. I mean, you know, there was a vendor at 15th Street, I remember. We did some work at 15th Street and the guys had been there 15 years and he had to move. So it's a larger issue than this space because the law is not taking care of the vendors. And that's, you know, my reading. Max, is that somewhat accurate?
Yeah, so parks issues permits to vendors within our parks and our property. And our property can include the lot itself, so the park itself, and the property that surrounds it, the sidewalks. And we can park concessionaires on those sidewalks. So I think what we're talking about with these vendors, they are disabled veterans vendors.
I just want to clarify 1 second before you just said concessionaires, but the concessionaires are what is the vendor of Hardy, the vendor of HYHK is the concessionaire there.
That is correct.
Right? The
That is
other
correct.
vendors are the one which have the veteran status. And they have a floating, you know, permit. And they are not linked to location and they are not, you know, once you have the concessionaire take over. From, I mean, it's more in the ranking is taking, they have the contract and they can take that space. Yes.
Yeah.
Is Parks worried that they want to make sure that there's a concession in that spot, right?
Parks wants to make money.
Yeah. So, so
That's the main
were the
thing.
vendors given the opportunity to bid on that location or that spot or to form some sort of a company to bid on this or that wasn't taken?
So we have
They
an
have
answer.
knowledge.
Wait, we have an answer.
Yes, they were allowed, and they did, was
Right.
a guy named Baker.
Okay,
Guy named Baker, he's one of the co-owners who co-owns all the costs that are there.
right. Okay, yes, right.
Yeah, and I kind of want to get too much into this because again, it's not transportation, but so there's 3 veterans and 5 carts.
Well, I don't understand that. but-
Because you're only allowed to have 1 permit per person.
I can explain it very quickly.
Okay,
Yeah, so 1 second.
yes,
Across the street, there are 2 cars that don't need veterans permits.
Okay.
They require regular
I
season
see.
permits.
I see. So it's really 3 for
Only
3.
3, okay.
It's 3 on the park,
Right. And the other one is the sidewalk.
and then the park.
Got it.
It's a regular.
Got it. So, yes,
Quick question, Parks Department, is there a way to make an exception sometimes? Not so much in this particular case, but generally speaking, in the city, the vendors already have some sort of permits and they occupy a particular spot. When you do this kind of an RFP as an agency, you guys take into account what is there and then sort of find a way of creating sort of large equity for everyone?
So we're very concerned with equity for everyone. And I think we recommended a few spots that the vendors that were displaced could go to that were nearby. But we only have purview over our parks vendors. And those are the parks concessionaires we give permits to. Since we don't give permits to the disabled veterans, we don't have purview over that.
okay,
And 33rd Street, it didn't exist yet. All that happened.
right. So you know, what I'm hearing is that it's a terrible situation for you. There's no question about it. We all feel very much for you and for the emotions you're showing. But the rules and the law are working in a certain way now. And, you know, I mean, hopefully within the park, and as the park is opening more locations, you're going to find more locations to be there. But I would think that what is more important is to try to change the law and to tell the elected officials and say, we need to do something, because I personally think that the vendors, which have been there for 8 years, should have their spot.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be moved. I think it's wrong.
Can I just
Yes.
add on to that and say, yeah, you know, something that would give vendors some sort of protected status for if they've been in a certain place for a certain period of time, I think would be incredibly beneficial to the vendor community and would absolutely go a long way, Mohammed, for all the work that you do. In this particular circumstance, you know, I think that is sort of the problem. A change to the law would be helpful here, because New York City is in constant flux. There will always be change. There will always be change to the way that we use our streets, the way they look, the buildings that are going in and out, where pedestrian traffic goes, where it flows, and who can be there. And so, you know, some sort of protected status, I think, would be necessary in this circumstance. You know, my initial reaction, as you know, as much as I understand the want to be near the flow of traffic there, is one, you know, you've been given some additional spots that are relatively close by. Two, as the park does develop, more foot traffic will be going to those other, and correct me if I'm wrong, by the way, this is I will finish speaking and then you can please respond. But you know, more foot traffic will start heading in that direction as well, to the new locations. So it would just be a matter of time before the new locations actually are quite beneficial to you. But my thinking, though, is really this is, you know, you set up shop in what was an active construction site. You knew that buildings were going up all around you and things were changing. And so there was no guarantee. And unfortunately, in the business that you're in, there is never a guarantee, as much as now we think that, oh, maybe there really should be, because this is such a problem. And so I would like, you know, please respond to that, of course. But I do think Christine is making an excellent point about maybe this is a bigger issue about changing, you know, recommending some changes to the law and the way that the permitting takes place and what that means, rather than duking it out on every street corner as you've been doing for so long.
Yeah, so
you want to answer first? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to respond quickly. Thank you so much, Jesse, and thanks, Christine, for sharing your thoughts. That's very thoughtful and very helpful. But we also know that changing the laws in New York City would take a very long time. I'm sure all of you know, especially when it gets to street vending. Anything related to street vending is super controversial. It takes 5 to 10 years to change one line in the vending laws. But also, as we are working together towards a fair system and a fair, regulatory system that governs street vending, we are trying to find the middle ground where fairness can exist. We hear the concerns and we hear the thoughts that people shared. The vendors can go down the block. Yes, they can, but they will go out of business in a month. Literally, you can't operate a business 300 feet away from the crosswalk. Nobody's there. On the flip side, this company that has the agreement with the Alliance, they have so many locations in the park that they can set up. People have shared here that their permit is very designated to that location. But we know, we have the videos, we have the picture to show you. They have operated in so many other locations within this park in particular, and nobody will move a finger. And those vendors are not against that. What I'm trying to say is that there is a place, there is a world where everyone can coexist. But the people who have the power, the legal power, are not allowing this to happen. They are putting their hands on every inch of this particular block, even those that they cannot put trees on, they are putting their own companies and those people they have agreements with on.
I hear you, and I think we are in agreement, but I don't know that we have the legal basis to do any of that. So, you know, I'm just trying to say, the way it is right now, that's the way it is, and it feels unfair, and it is probably unfair, but at the same time, I don't think we have any short-term solution, because, you know, that's, I mean, they have the concession with the city, they have the contract, they have the paperwork. So there's really not much we can do to say, hey, it should not work like that.
Your feeling is big enough for us, by chance. Your feeling with us is enough, by chance. I really appreciate that, but we just wait for courtroom, did one last week, because during the last months, the parking department priced to Mrs. Dorsey, the petrol, 65 some, because she refused to move. It's $2,000.
Yeah, but I mean, I
So we
understand.
have courtroom.
I understand, but you know, right now, the law is the law, so what we are doing in this community board is essentially operating within that constraint, you know? Yeah.
Can I suggest something very quickly? I don't know how much you get wrong, but is there a way we could form the right to defend it? The right to Parks Department, the right to city, the right to administrative office.
Yeah.
Few people, but this is an issue, and then
They should work on it.
People should work together on it, and it should be, you should take into account what exists before you start moving people around, because it's professional, right? And
that makes sense. Right.
Have to be an advocate for Parks Department, the city, at least study the issue, look at it, sit down, you know, maybe some sort of
An assessment.
an assessment, and see if they can, you know, push some changes through. Maybe there's some changes they can make without going to city council for a major overhaul. They might be in their own structure, in their own Parks Department.
Like the rules.
Exactly.
We have a motion, I mean, in addition to saying that we need to change the law, which I think is not necessarily
That's a
good.
long term, that's a long.
Yes.
And because we are transportation, you gotta measure that, I'm telling you, it doesn't, I don't know if you can have a video there, because it doesn't look like it's.
It is more than 10 feet away, because the bump out. The bump out is. So it's bump out.
The bump out is where the intersection begins.
That's an 8 feet extension.
Yeah,
it is. It's.
Okay, so we have,
But it's from where the end.
do we have a motion?
Right, the intersection is.
Second.
That's how they measure.
Okay, so all in favor of that motion, we're writing on, you know, recommending some protocol to assess in the future, right? And then maybe in the future, short-term future, and in the long term, recommending some legal adjustments so that it's, and maybe we can, you know, you can use that to go see other community boards and other people and help you. Okay, all right. We got, oh, Jesse, did you vote?
I did. I voted in favor. Thank you very much, everyone, for all of the
Thank you so much
for your presentations, and yeah, thank you for being here.
For being very professional.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys, we really appreciate that. Thank you.
No one in the public wanted to.
Yes, oh, anybody in the public, hold on.
We did forget that. Sorry. Luckily, only 5 people in the public. Anyone here for this topic who wanted to speak?
Okay.
Okay. Ooh. We dodged a bullet on that one, Christine. Thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you for going, thank you guys.
Yes.
We really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is not good. Okay. Can we,
Sorry, just before you go, we just take 1 second, like Mohammed, I want to say something to you, because one of the reasons why we came here is actually because the local council member, Eric Butcher, said any plan regarding trees, changing of the sidewalks, you guys have to talk to the community board first and give their approval.
Right.
That's why he recommended that we have this conversation.
But we had given our approval for the trees.
Yeah, we are aware of that, but that's why he was like, if you want to request that the trees be changed or anything happens in the plan, we have to have a conversation.
Mr. Eric Boucher, he promised me, he gonna support us if you support us. We're not against it.
Yeah, but we can't change the trees because this was a plan,
We're
right?
not talking about the trees, we're talking about one corner in the world.
Yeah,
We can,
we
so,
can't do that. We just can't do that. I'm
okay.
sorry.
Thank you,
Thank
thank you.
Don't forget. Could you, Nelly, put together, or Jesse, could you put up the budget stuff?
Somebody has a raised hand, person.
Oh, you're in, okay. Nelly,
Yeah,
can you?
move on over, Irene.
Okay, hold
move
on.
over? Or is that the person who will come?
Is this an email? Oh, to come.
Hi there. I just have something that I was hoping to add to the agenda. My name is Irene. I live on 400 West 37th Street. And ever since June, from 9 to 1 a.m., there's been honking because of construction in the tunnel. And it's just unbearable to live like this. I've been calling 311 every day and no one's been able to do anything. So I was hoping that this could be added to the agenda for next month's meeting.
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And we do have new agenda items at the end, but if you could send Nelly an email, that would be great. Nelly,
Email?
I'm sorry?
What is Nellie's email? I don't see it on here.
Nelly, do you mind sharing your email?
Sure. My email is NE Gonzalez.
NEGONZALES.
LEZ
LEZ
at cb.nyc.gov.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm gonna just repeat it.
If you can send some details about where it is, at what time, etc.,
Yes.
that would be really helpful. Right?
I'll add that. I just want to repeat it. NE@GONZALEZ@cb.nyc.gov.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Irene. Thanks for bringing that up.
If she calls 311 and let her have the service complaint numbers too. When she calls about 311 about the construction and the complaints, if she has a service they don't have.
Yeah, include the service item, the SR numbers from 311 in your email.
Okay, will do. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay, so maybe Jesse, you can bring up the
Unless Nelly has it faster than I do. All right, one sec.
It was in the folder.
Oh boy.
Or Nelly, if you have it, it's in the folder.
I know. I gotta find the folder. Whoops. That's good.
Rich people versus poor people.
This whole vendor thing, of course, the whole city is a sad situation.
Yeah.
Poor one, right.
This happened.
All right, here we go. Sharing my screen. Christine, which would you like me to pull up?
The this is too many, right? No, this is one I put in the folder for tonight.
Is this not the correct
So
folder?
it's not that. You have to go to the folder which says,
I thought this was it. Oh, is it this?
yeah. I think. Yes, you got it.
There we go.
Okay, so we don't need this one. You just want to click on capital there, the tab, which is capital down there
Yep.
at the bottom. Yeah, capital, right? That's it.
Yep.
This capital, yeah. So, I'm welcome your change and then the change in priorities. Ooh, what
Sorry,
is it?
I don't know what just happened. I'll pull it back up. Sorry. It just disappeared.
Stop touching.
It's a very sensitive click trackpad here. What I've learned this evening.
Okay.
All right, hold on.
So capital, right.
Oh my God! Stop. All right, yeah.
So here we are. So
That's good.
these are the thing. Also, capital expenses. I mean, we would group here the things which are capital, which usually are big construction stuff, right? And the first one is like DOT had committed to install islands, you know, the pedestrian islands on the on the bike lanes, and so we are putting that back because they are not finished. Then they have installed 40 congestion pricing gantries in our neighborhood because the Port Authority doesn't cooperate. So they all could have been on Port Authority land, but because there is a lawsuit in New Jersey, the Port Authority said no way. And now it's all over around the Lincoln Tunnel. In front of Joe's Studios and
He couldn't solve the money.
he's furious. Okay, West 41st and 10th Avenue Station, we have been asking for that forever. This is when they constructed the 7 extension. There were supposed to be 2 stations, one at 33rd Street and one at 41st Street. And then they ran out of money and they didn't do 41st Street. So that's something we've been asking.
Didn't just last week they say not happening?
What?
There's news on that this week. The MTA is like, we're never doing this.
Too expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Too expensive.
What is this?
on the 7 train stop at 10th Avenue.
Where was that?
They put out a new big plan and there was
And it was not included.
they had done a study of this and they said it costs way too much money. It wouldn't benefit that many people and it would actually harm more people who have to slow down because they're trying to get to Hudson Yards. Sounds crazy. I mean, I'm for it.
I mean, the cost was about $1 billion. It was very expensive.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll remove it then, right?
I mean, I still want it, but
service.
in light of the recent news, it might be turned out to keep happening.
Also, reconstruct 9th Avenue from here to 34. We have asked that forever. So, you know, the new sidewalk would be done permanent and the bike lane would be done permanent, you know, and the whole thing.
It's getting close. But I mean, have you been by lately? Like, I think
What?
I mean, it's been significantly redesigned between 34 and 31 on 9th.
Oh, that piece, yes,
Yeah, what piece is this?
I'm talking about all the way.
Oh,
to
yeah.
51st.
Yes, yeah.
Second one. And then we have something, where is it? What's going on? Oh, this is going.
Oh, so that from 51 to 31, sorry.
Yeah.
30.
And then electric vehicles, last year we put a plug there saying need separate multi-vehicle charging areas. I guess it's, you know, if there are municipal facilities, they could become charging station, right? And then roadway maintenance, they are redoing that right now. Resurface 9th Avenue bike lane. And I'm putting CS, which is continuing support because it's not finished. Hopefully by then it will be finished.
8th Avenue, yeah.
Right, 8th Avenue. Do we have anything else down there? Oh. Done, new curb of pedestrian ramp, Dyer Avenue, 34th Street, done. And so all this ADA stuff is done and we are markedly done. So that's the capital budget, capital request. Okay? So you want to go to expenses, so it's a lot more, expenses is a lot more as usual. All right, so we always ask for improving the intersection for 42nd at, 9, 10, 11. To be better. Install neck downs and speed bump in West 24. This is we had a letter recently about that, right? Sidewalk capacity, so this is asking to do the rest of 9th Avenue and widen the sidewalk, right? It's underway, so let's finish it. Congestion, studying the redirection of traffic on Dyer Avenue, and it looks like people are interested in doing that. The parking study, install the bike corrals.
What's going on with that?
Well, here it is.
No, I mean, has there been any progress with that?
No, not that I know of. Adjusted timing congestion, change the subway grades. Maybe this is capital, the subway grades. I don't know. I have to check it out.
I think you might have started with this.
Create this 9th Avenue bike lane, which is totally damaged right now.
Yep.
Conduct traffic or parking study, study the creation of a bus lane. So that's pretty much all the letters we have written. You think the order is right, or?
Is there a request for bus lane study for 10th as well?
Yeah. 9 and 10. Right. And go all the way down, and we can see the green stuff, which is either already done.
The repairs on the bike lanes on 9th Avenue from like 34th to 53rd, maybe we should try to put that out as a hard priority.
Well, here's the issue. We're asking for the widening of the sidewalk. If you widen the sidewalk, then we do the bike lane. Right? And what we made a deal is to say, okay, we're going to leave a little bit with the bad bike lane if you do the sidewalk widening at the same time. So I would rather them do the sidewalk widening and the bike lane. If they redo just the bike lane, we're never going to see the sidewalk widening. So that's the trade-off on how do we approach that.
All right. I didn't know you made a deal with that.
Right, there's a sort of a deal there, right.
Christine, one quick question. Would there ever be a conversation about some of the sort of narrow Chelsea street sidewalks, which are like 1.5 feet wide between trees?
You guys have to bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big problem in my.
You have to bring it up, say, we want this street or that street.
Side street?
Yeah.
21st is okay, 22nd is now, because you done whatever you've done. And further on, sort of between the 8th and 9th Avenue, you find streets just, I mean, practically between the tree and somebody's tree.
Right.
You practically have 1 foot 25 inch. I mean,
Yeah.
one
So
foot
that's
25.
really good story.
But I thought 26th Street is a shared street.
No, 22nd, yes.
So you guys do a little survey, you take some pictures, and then, let's put it on the on the agenda. And we'll make the request, and then we'll put them in the budget.
I think so, we should.
Yeah.
And good news is that
Yeah.
sort of trash bags are going to go away from sidewalks.
And now it's going to be trash container.
Yeah, which is going to be a different.
Crazy.
It is a sidewalk.
Yeah.
One area that we discussed a few times, I brought it up a number of times, it probably should be at least studied to figure out an intervention, but the intersection at 8th Avenue and 31st Street, now that Moynihan Station is open.
I know.
And the loading coming in is causing that intersection to get backed up with cars.
So we should put it, we'll put it as, a sort out, right, help. The problem is that what can be done, it's like Vornado is supposed to do it.
Yeah, I mean, what should be done is there should be a bump out.
There is a bump out, the big box on it.
It's drawn on, it's painted on the street, so they
It's
need.
capital request or
Yeah,
fiscal bump.
so then, they need, they probably need to study it, so we might have to request a study before we can say this is what you should do. But I think we've already asked them to.
Yes.
To intervene.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, we have a letter on that.
She's talking about when they can left on 31st where the buses are.
So, yeah, I mean, the issue, I don't know, we don't have to read the whole thing, but basically, cars are loading and unloading
It's terrible.
on the painted area where the bump out should be. So that blocks the intersection, that causes bicycles to have to go around the
And the
cars.
pedestrian
And
crosswalk.
in the meantime, the city granted a bus pickup
Yeah,
just
buses
past,
do
just
that.
past that, which makes the drop off, so. I think the study would show that they need to have a passenger drop off mid-block. Cause people can enter Marina Station.
But they have that.
But they-
People don't go there.
But if they block off that corner with the bump out, that will, then
Yes.
the cars have to go there
Yes.
because it's
Yeah.
not a convenient place by the corner.
Right.
Christine, can you not get one of the FCNY fellowships?
What?
You know, the board has this bunch of young students coming in and doing
Yeah.
studies for us. It's FCNY fellowship. And that I think the fund for city. of-
Is that for 21st Street?
Could any of it be wrong? Any of, look, that's.
This is, I'm not suggesting you take 3 pictures, you know, this is not a big
No.
study, right?
No, there's a much larger, it's not just one street that we're talking about. It's many.
Main Street.
Chunky and many.
I mentioned that to Jesse Bodin. And said you have somebody.
They're very quaint, those streets there.
About I think the baby, yeah.
Don't get your hopes up. We're actually gonna be- I know. We're getting to a bunch
Oh,
of
yeah.
time.
Okay,
So
so,
right, the streets are very nice. and so
Right.
To walk quiet.
They're nice streets, and you still gotta walk on, you have to wait for someone to come down the street and walk.
It's New York, you know what?
You
You shouldn't have to wait.
wait, somebody's coming, you have to wait.
that
That's
happened
not
on
New York
9th
speed.
Avenue, I have news for you,
Still like-
that happened on 9th Avenue, you're like,
That's the whole sidewalk stuff you have on there.
Use that area.
when you have to.
I'm the only one.
That's good.
I know, it's also my.
It's luxury, it's luxury.
Super
It's
sidewalk.
luxury.
I use it.
Even the bicyclists, are using it because the pedestrians own it.
What is this?
Super
Ninth
sidewalk.
Avenue got the sidewalk on
Right.
extension, so it was painted brown.
That's pedestrians, the
But
green is
no one
bikes.
knows to walk there except.
So Jesse, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine.
So can we take a vote on?
Oh, wait, one more. I just had one more question on the expenses. Sorry, is it just particular to, I didn't see the MTA accessibility elevator request. Does that not belong in here?
Well, it's not, we don't have it yet, right?
What do you mean?
MTA accessibility, the one which had been approved for 6th Avenue, is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm just talking about generally. I mean, we still have so many stations without elevators.
Isn't there,
Yeah, but we didn't write a letter yet, so.
wasn't that in?
Oh, I see. All right. Oh, so this is only what we've done. Okay, I got it. Sorry. All right, I missed that.
Yeah.
Miriam will write that letter.
And
You
great.
should write that letter.
All right, so give me a motion, please, so we can move on.
Motion.
Okay, yes, all in favor? All right, so what happens is we go to a meeting of budget and we mix all those things with the others. So some of those are going to be like much further down, right? Not on the top. But essentially, then they take it out and they send it to each agency, so it goes back to be a group. So we shouldn't be too worried about that they are being moved down. And we had a person who wanted to talk to us as a new business. Is that person online right now? Nelly?
I believe he is. Oh, sorry, Nelly. I see Neil on.
Oh,
Yeah.
you are. Can you bring him?
Oh,
over?
and we have Miriam has her hand raised as well.
Who?
Miriam Fisher.
Yeah, but the subject we wanted to talk about is not on the agenda, right?
Right.
I don't know what Miriam Fisher has her hand raised for, so we should move her over as
Okay,
well.
so Miriam is raising her hand, if you can bring her over, that'd be great. And then Neil.
I wanted to ask, calling on two updates after this.
Okay, well, maybe let's do it now, because she's going to go. Colleen, we have some questions for
Let's see,
you. Are
let's
you
see
still
one.
there?
What's the opening?
Colleen, she left.
Still on.
Oh, it's here.
She took a walk.
Okay, so first of all, Miriam, what's going on?
I had come because I didn't know if the budget requests were being finalized, and Jesse brought that up. The discussion on the elevator was postponed to November 5th, so that was partly answered. The other is that I've been working with the accessibility team from the MTA, and I've expanded what I sent you letters through Jesse Bodine to the two chairs, meaning Christine and Jesse Greenwald. I assume that you got them. This was a draft of my request that was going to the MTA for the next capital plan. And I'm trying to get community support for that, so they don't think I'm the only one who's going to be riding that elevator and say, not many people, just like you said.
That's the thing we're going to discuss next month.
Okay, let me just finish my thoughts. It'll just be a second. I am expanding the letter and including the guidelines from the MTA. So I would like, before the next meeting, I'd like to send them to you. So you see what I've written, and also incorporating more of the guidelines from the MTA.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay.
All
right, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miriam.
Over and done.
Thank you, Miriam. Neil.
Yeah, Neil, before you speak, just so you know, Christine and I had a quick look at you have 3 different proposals, I know, this evening that you would like to add to the agenda. So chances are we would add them to next month's agenda. But if there's one that's really pressing for this evening that you want to speak about, that's fine. But typically, we take it in and then add it to the next month's agenda.
Okay. The only thing that might be worth, if there's any simple letter writing to be done, is the 10th Avenue storage area between 19th and 20th Street for the installation of the water main on both 19th and 20th between 10th and 11th. All work ended in August. And there's just doesn't seem to be any pressure for them to clean out the mess. It's been 5 years. And it would just be really nice if somebody could just give someone a nudge.
Yeah, and just to clarify for everyone, sorry, Neil is talking about construction equipment that was left over. Sorry, Neil, I'm trying to pull up your email. Where can you explain the
10th Avenue on the west side of 10th, 2 lanes plus half the sidewalk of the whole block, essentially. Just full of pipes and goodness knows what else.
Okay, so and you would like, go ahead, sorry, Christine.
No, I just wanted to clarify the streets, between what and what street?
19th and 20th on 10th Avenue.
10th Avenue.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would like us to write a letter to have that address and have the construction equipment removed, correct?
Yeah, that would be sensational.
Okay.
And then the other stuff. Sorry.
I think we can write an admin letter and have Jesse, follow up with BBC.
Jesse, and by Jesse, she means Jesse Bodine, our district manager. So to have that, so basically to have that come officially from our district manager rather than have that be a community board vote, because that is something that I think that's what Christine is saying. Correct, Christine?
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
I would not give you more work to do.
So the other things were both just traffic issues on 11th Avenue that have been waiting for every decade. I bring this up, and I thought it was time. At 16th, 17th, and 18th Street, I think there could be adjustments made that would be really beneficial for everyone.
Thank you, Neil. Yeah, the committee hasn't had a chance to because we just got them today, so the committee hasn't had a chance to review the letters yet.
So next month.
Yep. Great.
Lovely. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Neil.
Okay.
We also see that lady always comes on and represents the mayor's office, but her name, she's always on.
Just knows what to do.
All right.
Okay. All right. So I think that's all I have. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
No, I mean, speak to Colleen.
Oh, Colleen. Colleen, are you there?
No, she's not.
She's not.
Colleen was on the two connection, she had two, so I think she had left her phone on, but she's not paying attention to it. But she had two connections.
All right, that's good.
Christina, I wanted to discuss daylighting next month. Do I need to say that now or email you and Jesse about it?
Send us an email.
Okay.
But the pipes on the street, can the board appropriate them as abandoned property, so let's track and hire a lobby to be with the vendor issue?
Do we have a vote?
Motion to adjourn. Thank you all so much. I look forward to being with you all in person next month. Sorry I was not there. Bye, everybody.
Feel better.
Thank you, Nelly.
You're welcome. Good